Hey guys, that's me. Hi there, this is me Kiki and this is Kiki's Diaries. Recently I've been reading a bunch of books in search for like some ideas, some wisdom, support, or whatever. And I thought, why not recommend and share some with you? And here are the few books that I want to highlight. And these books that I'm going to mention now are the books that I think are really worth reading, in my opinion, because those are the books that are kind of, affected me in a good way. So the first book I want to mention is called Seven Steps to a Stable Self-Esteem by Boris Litvak. It's a very practical book. It is not about affirmations and repeat 100 times in front of the mirror about how much I love myself, but it's about how actually self-esteem works and a lot of tips. For example, how to stop tying your worth with success or failure. And for me, it also was very interesting kind of to notice and to look at not only at how I see myself but also at the way how I look at other people, which was an interesting thing to think about. The second book is called The Element by Ken Robinson. It's basically a book where he talks about how to find your element and how to, I guess, find your purpose, to, some tips how to remember what was your true passion is when you were younger, or what's your natural talents and how to find them again, that been lost through life because of society, school, and all that. A lot of good tips, a lot of good advices. Really recommend. Third book that I want to mention is a fiction. It's called A Wild Sheep Chase by Haruki Murakami. And this book is so surreal. I was reading this book while I was in Japan, on our trip this year, just because I wanted to kind of feel the full experience. And honestly, this book hooked me from the first pages, and I was so into it. It was super, I don't know, this book is like a very mysterious and a very strange, in a good way, story. And it's not very like a straightforward plot. It's something that makes you think about things a little bit afterwards. And yeah, I really really recommend this book and I really enjoyed it. Another fiction book, it's called Steppenwolf by Hermann Hesse. Wonderful book. It's a lot about human life, like inner conflicts, about loneliness, about identity. It can get a little bit heavy sometimes as you read it, but it's definitely a good read, especially if you're like in the mood, for looking inwards a little bit. So I really really recommend the book as well. The next book I want to talk about is called Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. It's a not religious book, how it might sound at first, but it is very like spiritual and philosophical book. It's made in a format where author having a dialogue with the God. It's such a great book, and while I was reading this book, it made me feel so safe and so calm and so much hope and belief in that everything is how it's supposed to be and I am where I am. This book is just a lot about, like life, about how we see and how we understand this world, and it explains a lot of things. And really, like, as I was reading this book, it made me feel so like hopeful and so kind of like, like if somebody was cuddling me. I don't know how else to explain it. I really, really, really recommend to read this book, at least the first part, the first book of the 3 books that is there. Good book to read. Those are the 5 books that I read recently, and I really, really would like to highlight them. But there is another book that I want to mention, is a bonus of this short video today. Is a book that I read a while ago, and it's still been one of my like favorite books that I've ever read. It's called Tomorrow I Was Always a Lion by Arnhild Lauveng. So this book it's like a memoir that been written by the author Arnhild Lauveng, and it's basically about her real story, because she was diagnosed with schizophrenia and she was recovered later on. And so she basically just writes her a real story about how was it, how did she started to realize that she wasn't feeling right in the beginning when she started to get ill. And this book is just a crazy book that is based on a true story, and it was like, it's really, I don't even know how to explain about this book, because you just need to read it to feel it. And it's also really changed the way how I see mental illness. It's a very hopeful book, and I think it's a wonderful, wonderful book, and very rare to read. And that's it. For now, those are the only 6 books that I wanted to mention. And I will be very happy if you guys share some of your best books you've read in the comments, and I'll be very grateful if you help me share this video with your friends, with someone who you think might need to see it or to read some of those books. And don't forget to obviously like, subscribe, and do all this YouTube things. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoy your next read. Bye!